Hey, good evening, everybody. What is going on? What's up, Vesty? Wondering how much will lament Trilby's poor writing skills while perusing his notes. Oh, I'm sure there'll be some crying and gnashing of teeth over this. What's up, Cragger? Hi, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Hope you're doing well. I'm doing all right. I'm hanging in there. Had a bit of a stressful day. Had a lot of work stuff to take care of. Had some unfortunate news at work, but it'll be okay, I guess. All that can be forgiven for the reason that I am late, and that is cheesecake. My wife picked up some cheesecake for us to enjoy after dinner, and we had a late dinner, which is why I'm here late. I had to stick around for cheesecake to battle my kids over. What's up, Two Hit? What's up, Justin Brett? So only okay if we get some too? Oh, I'm not sure how I would manage that on stream. Wait, do you mean you wish I had brought it on stream to like eat in front of you? Because I definitely could have done that. Oh, okay. Well, then in that case, I apologize, and I accept whatever chiding, whatever reproachment you have for me. Thank you, Vesky. What's up, Fury Fighter? Good to see you. What's up, Bancopter? Reading, ew. Okay, without the mukbang streak. I don't think I'm particularly well equipped to mukbang. I don't think that's really my scene, if we can be honest for a minute here. It's okay. I think I found a good niche here, playing old, sometimes forgotten games for y'all, a little bit at a time. I'm happy with it. So yeah. Speaking of games, I was able to pull myself together for a review of Tesla Effect, which I posted today. Hopefully you all saw that. There's nothing in there that should surprise anybody if you're around for the conclusion of the game last night. Got the muck part down. What's up, Evo? What's up, Spice? Do you see Odyssey kimchi? I've had kimchi. I work in a Korean company, for God's sake. I have had kimchi. It's not really my thing. I don't like cabbage. I'm not a big cabbage fan. I will eat cabbage. I will eat like shredded cabbage with certain things like cabbage salads. But when you start getting into like stewed and pickled cabbage, not really my thing. Girlfriend and I have had a long talk. Decided to change of pace in order. On June 23rd, I'll be putting in my 2 weeks notice. Oh, congratulations, Fury. That should be liberating. I know it can be, you know, scary, the uncertainty of what happens then, but you know, I think it's ultimately a good feeling to exit a job on your own term. I think it's good for the soul. Yeah, exactly, Justin. Good Shizo evening, everyone. What's up, Arcane? Cabbage sucks, embrace bruschetta. I'm much more of a lettuce guy. Kimchi is the best thing in the world, though. I suppose it can be. There are other things that I would count as best in class, personally. But yeah, I don't really think about vegetables that hard so much. So. But yeah, I managed to review Tesla Effect. I played some more Vampire Saviors. Still good, still fun. There's a spoilers, I guess, for Vampire Saviors or Survivors. There's a totally not Bayonetta character in there that's a ton of fun to play. What's up, Manic? You've got your finger on the pulse of the stream, Manic, definitely. Which is Vampire Savior. Vampire don't die. Don't die, vampire. Don't vampire die. Myself want to exit my current job desperately. I've yet to receive an offer. Yeah, that's the frustrating part. Like if you need something lined up before you can exit your current job, then yeah. Waiting for that can be painful. What's up, Toast? Yes, notes. We got notes. Trilby's. Hat made note. Let's see. Anything to mention for you? We're getting started late, so I shouldn't ramble too much. Well, plenty to talk about once we get into the game. Tomorrow night we're starting Metroid 2, of course. Friday night we're playing some Stalker Shadow of Chernobyl as this month's Beauty Night. Next week is the Wheel. Oh, I haven't settled on what I'm gonna start up on Monday, because we should be done with this tonight. It's you know, it's like the other Chizo games. It's not particularly super long. And I remember this one pretty well, I think. We're about to find out. But yeah, I'm not 100% sure what we're gonna do on Monday. We'll probably we might talk about it a bit tonight if we have time. Probably, almost certainly talk about it over the next few nights. I'm leaning towards another Metroidvania. I'm leaning towards another Metroidvania. The thing is, I went through my library and I checked the how long to beat on all of them, and almost all of them are too long. Because I'm gonna say I've got like five playthrough stream before my trip from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then the following Monday and Tuesday. I don't want to depend on that Wednesday, the last night before I leave, because I may have to cancel that one for packing or something. And I don't actually have a lot of Metroidvanias that are like 15 hours or less, honestly. I mean, they certainly are if I just blast through them, but that's not how I want to play a Metroidvania. I want to do all the cool, fun stuff. So, I've got something in mind. I have an inclination at the moment, so we may end up doing that, and then some other little stuff in between. So, you play a Metroid, then a Vania. That's the same thing, right? It's true. We are gonna play a Metroid. I could play a Vania thereafter. Possible. It's a thought, certainly. I played more Don't Die Spaceship. More Don't Die. Oh, I haven't played any Steriden lately. I would like to. I'm gonna review that at some point. So I was also thinking though. I think I mentioned a couple nights ago that I'm toying with the idea of a shmup review series. And if I do that, I'm going to save my Steriden review for that. Try the Symphony of the Night thing. I hear it's good. I've streamed Symphony of the Night. Hang on. What? Wait. Which? Let me actually think about that. Which Castlevanias have I streamed? I've streamed the first. I've streamed the first one to completion. I've streamed part of the second one. I've streamed most of Castlevania 3. I've streamed all of Castlevania 4 multiple times. I've streamed Castlevania Adventure, Castlevania Adventure 2 to completion. We did Rondo. We did Symphony of the Night. Did I subject y'all to Chronicles, or did we not get around to that? I can't remember if I've done Chronicles. I can't remember if I've done X. DS Castlevania, Aria of Sorrow. Aria of Sorrow is the last GBA one. I have no idea how I'd stream DS game. I guess I would have to go through an emulator, but I've never even looked at setting one of those up. You're thinking of Dawn of Sorrow. Aria of Sorrow is one of the few Castlevanias that got a direct sequel in Dawn of Sorrow, and Dawn of Sorrow was the first one on the DS. The GBA ones were Circle of the Moon, Harmony of Dissonance, and Aria of Sorrow. And then the DS ones were Dawn of Sorrow, Portrait of Ruin, and Order of Ecclesia. Castlevania DS. Castlevania X, the one I hate. Yeah, I hate Dracula X. Yeah. Dracula's Kiss, the shitty SNES 5. Yeah, I have that. I have it right here. Okay, well here's the good one. Here's the goat. I can't find it. Cannot find it. You know, probably for the best. Minute would be good for a night. It's not quite Metroidvania's ability game. I have streamed Minute before. I don't think I finished it, but I have played Minute. Oh, have a super hot MCD stream, or is that too first-person shootery? That's a roguelike. I'm mixing my genres. No, it's a first-person shooter, light roguelike kind of thing. Could always try out Call of the Sea. Call of the Sea takes a while, doesn't it? How long is Call of the Sea? I'm actually I think I'm gonna pick it up because it's on sale right now. Oh, Bryce, it's only 6 hours. There's actually a really good chance we'll end up doing Call of the Sea. Actually, very, very good chance indeed. Talking about single night Metroidvanias, when you're trying back on the Itch.io bundle streams, Vision Soft Reset. A single night Metroidvania? That's surprising. Hated Dracula X even before I played PC Engine one. That Undertale meets Rhythm. Yeah, I'm definitely not in the mood for something like that. You gotta remember, I'm a moody gamer. I'm guided by my mood. And right now, I want to do Metroidvanias and I want to do adventure games. Maybe some other stuff in between, but that's where I'm at right now. That's where my head's at. So I think I'm formulating a plan here. I think I've got something. I think I've got an idea. I think, but that will be a story for next week, I believe. No, God. I don't even like Bad Rats, ironically. That game is just shit. Anyway, chat, why are we sitting here talking about games that we're gonna play in the future when we could be talking about games we're gonna play right now? Trilby's notes. Okay, so hopefully, y'all were around for the previous two games. 5 Days a Stranger and 7 Days a Skeptic. The Chizo Mythos, as it is now known, is a quadrilogy. There are 4 games in it. We played the first 2. Trilby's Notes is the third. Trilby's Notes is a bit of an outlier in a couple ways. So 5 Days a Stranger was like, this is 8 Days a Notary. 5 Days a Stranger was a pretty straightforward haunted house tale. It's really well self-contained. It's well paced. It's moody. It's punchy. Really solid game. Really good. Yahtzee. These games are made by Ben Yahtzee Croshaw, as I'm sure you are all aware. Decided to follow it up with 7 Days a Skeptic, which took the formula, the haunted house formula, and stuck it in space. And it has more days, but is not actually a larger game, and it does some things with the gameplay and the story that are not great, but it still exists as just like its own game, just as a follow-up to 5 Days a Stranger. Trilby's Notes is when Yahtzee, I suppose, decided he was going to make a thing out of it. He was going to make a mythos out of it. So Trilby's Notes does a lot of heavy lifting to start tying the games together. This game is loaded up with a lot of backstory on what's really going on with the vengeful spirit John Defoe and the idol that his soul is trapped in, and all the drama of their family. So, and then all of that is paid off in the final games, 6 Days of Sacrifice, in interesting fashion. Look, I just want to go to space. You guys are still running suggestions. Want to do an adventure game? Might as well play Limbo the Lost. Play Sanitarium, which is free on GOG. I really like Sanitarium. I'm not sure I would stream it. Sanitarium's got some stuff in it. It's a very good game. It's a very, very, very good game. I played through it for the first time a couple years ago. I had played like a demo of it as a kid, and it stuck in my head. And I didn't get around to doing the whole thing until I think I did it for a Spooktober, one of the earlier ones, like 3 or 4. So anyway, the story here. My name is Trilby. I should be a British accent, but 4 years ago, I was involved in the Defoe Manor incident. I and 4 other individuals were trapped inside a manor house by some kind of supernatural intelligence, a dark wraith with murder on its mind, the ghost of the original owner's youngest son. I was trapped inside Defoe Manor for 5 days. I was forced to do something I can never forgive myself for. Possessed I may have been, but I was still watching through my eyes a man dying at my hand. 3 of us got out alive, me, Simone Taylor, and Jim Fowler. The place burnt to the ground as we escaped, but ever since then I've been haunted by the possibility that John Defoe was not at rest, that the idol that contained his soul would have survived the blaze and still be out there somewhere. July 1997, my darkest fears have been confirmed. Another innocent lies dead. The idol did survive the fire. Well, we knew it survived the fire because it showed up like 400 years later in 7 Days of Skeptic. The only good news is that I know where it is. I've come to this hotel on this isolated Welsh island to find the soul of John Defoe and see it destroyed utterly and completely. Only then can I rest easy. And there's mystery and such. Stream the Elvira games? That would be something. So yeah, let's go ahead. Let's get into this, shall we? Been sitting here rambling. Oh no, the horror, you're in Wales. I haven't actually run this yet. Hopefully everything's gonna be okay. Hopefully everything will be fine. Something's happening. Something's happening. Wait, wouldn't it be funny if I couldn't run this at all? Okay. I didn't like that. Let me try to setup. Yeah, you can do whatever you want. It's fine. Fine thing. Fine. Yeah. Running that super HD 640 by 480. Save and run. Yeah, trust me. The game is haunted. Here we go. All right. Come on. Okay, cool. My earbuds. I don't know why my earbuds switch. New game, please. Tutorial. Let's do on. Commentary. New. Shut the fuck up. That was a close call. Following documents are taken from the handwritten notes of Trilby, an STP field operative whose real name remains classified. Game over, man. Game over. That's it. That's Trilby's note. Good work, team. That was what I thought as I stood and watched Defoe Manor collapse into flaming ash. The ordeal was over. Those 5 days cost us all so much. Philip and AJ paid with their lives. They were the fortunate ones. Jim Fowler was expelled from school for truancy, a bright future in tatters. Simone Taylor took to the bottle. Her broadcast became slurred, her eyes hollow and unwelcoming. She soon vanished from television screen. As for me, I tried to return to life as a cat burglar, but I had been forever tainted by my time spent in that wretched house. The memories of my possession came back in my nightmares. Every night I was there again in the mansion, staring out through unfamiliar eyes as Philip died at my hand. I became convinced that John Defoe was not at rest, that someday he would return for me. I became so terrified of invisible enemies that I forgot about the tangible ones. He's now a leopard burglar. Trilby caught! 2 slow, miserable years after Defoe Manor, a barrage of truncheon blows taught me a harsh lesson in reality, and I woke up in the kind of filthy cell I assumed would be my new home. But then he came, the man from the government with his nervous smile offering an alternative. The STP, the Special Talent Project. It hadn't been that much earlier that I would have sooner died than entered an obligation with anyone, least of all the government. Had Defoe Manor changed me so much? Whatever my reasons, I left my past behind and resolved to give my new superiors nothing to complain about. I spent a year and a half completing assignments, developing contacts, building reputation. Party trumpets are great. And then the past caught up. In the summer of 1997, I became concerned about Simone Taylor's mental well-being. The papers were reporting her continual breakdown, and she had become a virtual recluse. I had no idea if my appearance would assist or hinder. I had, after all, deliberately allowed her to think me dead. Presumably, she knew differently now after the media coverage of my arrest, but I would expect her to be bitter about my subterfuge. On balance, I decided that a meeting with an old friend would most likely be beneficial. I came to her apartment building on a warm, stormy night and braced myself for the encounter. Okay, so Trilby's Notes uses a different interface than the other games in the quadrilogy. It's a text parser game. Why would you visit anyone during a storm? Like, leave it to a cat burglar. So, we move around using the arrow keys. Which... I don't know why there's no sound. What did I do next? Look at window. Summer storm was raging outside. Light rain pattered against the glass, the gentle noise punctuated by rumbles of coarse thunder. Door. There were 2 entrances to the apartment. Simone's was the one on the right. Open door. Basic security measures ensured that was impossible. Knock on door. Knock sharply upon Simone's door. Press F3 to recall your last command. That's handy. Receiving no reply, I knocked again, louder. Still no response. The doorman assured me Simone was in. I decided it was time to enter by my own methods. Press tab or type inventory to view your inventory. Press tab again to close it. I have with me lockpicks. Hang on one sec. Oh, there's no real option. Okay. You lockpick on door. I reasoned that Simone could have been in trouble, and even if she wasn't, then at least, at worst, I was only playing my reputation. I spent a few minutes feverishly picking the lock and let myself in. Turn on light. I'd already tried the switch when I came in. It didn't work. Open window. And no intention of filling the room with wind and rain. Open curtain. Hold open the blind. There we go. Cool. There we go. We need a thunder crash. Okay. Look at body. Lying on the floor was undoubtedly Simone. I felt for a pulse, and my hands came away stained with long, cooled blood. My fingers traced the outline of a large wound in her torso, slashed by a big weapon, wielded by a big assailant. I called for an ambulance, as futile as it would be, and left before they arrived. Okay, so that whole opening is silent. That's interesting. Due to me being a clear murder suspect, I was relieved from duty from the week for the week it took for the Ministry of Occultism to inspect the flat and confirm supernatural activity. My superiors simultaneously apologized and assigned me to investigate if there was a connection to the Defoe Manor incident. Merely reading those 3 words, capitalized on the front of a loose-leaf file, brought the nightmares back with more intensity than ever. Sure enough, a field agent reported that looters had discovered and sold several artifacts from the mansion, including the wooden idol that housed John Defoe's soul. Whoops. To my surprise, no murders had been reported or committed by anyone who had come into contact with the accursed trinket. I did not find that reassuring. I quickly advised James Fowler to go into hiding. He was stunned, but agreed. The boy had sense and still respected my judgment. You know the horrors start when the fart trumpets start up? This done, I began following the idol's trail. From the pawn shop, it had entered the possession of one Professor Abed Chahal, an authoritative historian. Authoritarian historian? He had scheduled some kind of antique fair in the clan... Okay, look. Look, chat. You know about me and pronunciating things. This is a Welsh island. There is no fucking way that I am going to pronounce any of this correctly, okay? I'm just putting that out there up front. We're going to do our best, okay? Antique fair in the Clan Bronwyn Hotel on a small island off the coast of Anglesey, popular with tourists. Anglesey? Assuming the role of a scholar of antiquities, I booked a room. On 20th of July, 1997, I caught a ferry from the port in Anglesey and arrived at around 3 p.m. in Clanbronwyn Island's coastal village. Pronounce it with all 8 consonants in a row and you'll be good. Called Greg. It seemed a peaceful hamlet, and in defiance of stereotype, the locals were welcoming and told me no local legends to dissuade me from exploring the island. Port noise. Font is definitely making things a bit harder. The Clan Bronwyn Hotel was in the island's center, surrounded by forest. I made my way there on foot. You're Trilby, right? As soon as I arrived, I was greeted by a balding man in a gray anorak. I wondered if I was expected to know who he was. That depends. My name is Lankman. I'm with the Ministry of Occultism. Oh? I thought the ministry were clear on the fact that I was handling this on my own. Maybe there are still people who don't trust you, Mr. Trilby. What? I haven't stolen anything since I joined the STP. Your colorful past is not what concerns my superiors. It hasn't gone unnoticed that your history with Defoe Wraith influences you psychologically. I'm sure you resist it, but it could still cause you to act irrationally, disobey orders. Everyone just feels a little safer with someone else on the ground. I see. You can rest assured that I'll endeavor to maintain absolute professionalism on this assignment. Nevertheless, I have my order. Bye. I would suggest we keep out of each other's way then and pursue separate investigation. I'm sure I don't want to get mixed up in a reunion. Spoilers, he won't. I watched him disappear around the corner of the building. I very much doubted that Lankman and I would become friends. Clan Brown Hotel lobby was a warm welcome. The building was certainly well maintained, and yet there was something about it that nagged at the back of my mind, quickening my pulse. I dismissed the sensation, act which, in retrospect, I would come to regret. Good evening, Terrence Railby. I have a reservation. Ah, yes, you're here for the antique fair? We put you in room 3C on the 3rd floor, if you'd just like to sign the check-in book. Hello, Bethan. Just letting you know I'll be having dinner in my room today. That's absolutely fine, Professor. This, I decided, was what they called a golden opportunity. Professor Shahal? Yes? I'm afraid you have me at a disadvantage. Railby, Terrence Railby. We met at Sotheby's a few months ago. Oh, you don't remember me? No, of course I do. Terrence Railby, how have you been? The astute reader has already guessed that both Terrence Railby and the previous meeting were utter fiction. The early days of the internet, Trilbummies and fedoras weren't there yet. Why did autocorrect give you Trilbummies? I had spent some time studying Chahal's movements and habits. He was by all counts absent-minded, and that was something I could use. I'm well, thanks. I was hoping I'd run into you. I've heard interesting things about the items you're showcasing here. You remember I do freelance scouting for some wealthy collectors? Yes. Well, a client of mine has expressed an interest in relics from Defoe Manor in Buckinghamshire. He's been on my back for a while about it. Fedoras are cool when Tex wears them, true. Tex can redeem a fedora. What remained of Professor Chahal's suspicion melted away from his expression as the opportunity to make money entered the conversation. Well, I'm sure I wouldn't want to damage your professional status. Would you like to come up to my room for drinks? Oh, I don't want to impose. No imposition at all. Please, follow me. Room key, Mr. Railby. Ah, thank you. Please lead the way, Professor. Abed? Who's your friend? Oh, let me introduce you. This is my personal assistant. I don't know how to say that name. She accompanies me on most of my excursions. This is Mr. Railby, an old acquaintance. Chad, how do you pronounce that name? He's looking for information on Defoe Manor artifacts. Oh, really? Him and half the people we meet. What is it about that place? Never underestimate the attraction of a mystery, my dear. Please take a seat, Terry. I'll be right with you. I'm a Terry now. So, interested in ghost stories? The girl struck me as forceful personality. I gave the matter some thought before replying. Pronounce it Shodan. If I've heard this name out loud, it hasn't connected with me. I've read it, I've read that name in text, but I've never had to pronounce it. So I don't know how you. Chat, you're so incredibly useful. I always appreciate just how forthcoming you are with assistance. Not really. I'm just scouting on behalf of a client, like I told the professor. Siobhan? Well, we can do that. You know, it's strange to see someone as young as you in the antiques trade. Come to think of it, I thought only old men dressed like that. No offense meant. None taken. I didn't catch your last name? O'Malley. Siobhan O'Malley. Couldn't be more Irish if I tried, could it? Sorry to keep you waiting, dear boy. Flop. Now then, what shall we talk about? When talking to characters, you must specify a topic of conversation. There are usually several things each character is willing to discuss. For example, talk to Abed about Defoe Manor. Okay. By the way, those of you that have played this game before, does it really just have no sound for most of the game? Because this is very odd. So I understand you came in possession of artifacts from Defoe Manor. Yes, indeed, it was astonishing to me that such artifacts existed at all. The whole place burned to the ground. Hear about the Defoe Manor incident? I was experiencing a sick feeling that I had not felt for quite some time. The last I had felt it was while standing at the gates of another country mansion, not long after Defoe Manor, preparing to break in. Recalling those 5 wretched days churned my stomach with fear, turning what had once been the joy of thievery into an exercise in anxiety. Discussing it brought that feeling back, the act of feigning ignorance, while visions of welding masks and machetes flooded my mind's eye, worsened them. I heard something on the news. It's been on the news again lately since that Taylor woman died. A lot of silly talk about the paranormal has been abound, so the true facts are near unreachable. But the point is, some enterprising fellows picked up 1 or 2 undamaged items from the ruin. Furniture, books, an ugly little tribal figurine. And I took them off their hands purely out of curiosity, of course. So, were there any particular items your client is interested in? About idol. Art of Theft happens before 5 days. Yes, Art of Theft is like you could think of it as like a prequel. Game is mostly quiet because I swear there are footsteps at least. Maybe there are footsteps when I actually have control of Trilby, but this has all been cutscenes so far, so. Tell me, does a huge man in a welding mask and leather apron mean anything to you? Not really. Should it? Never mind. It's a small African figurine that my client wants me to look into. Resembling a rather ugly tribal god. They should probably stop insulting the tribal god. Honestly, despite its age, it's virtually valueless. That's what I said, but my client is very insistent. He's interested in the paranormal and the idol features in some of the more unlikely accounts of the Defoe Manor incident. I don't suppose I should ask questions if this man of yours wants to take it off my hands. I don't have it on me right now. It's being kept in the hotel safe. Perhaps we can work out a deal after the fair. I'd intended to display it with the other Defoe artifacts. Inwardly, I just wanted to get this mission completed as fast as possible, but I didn't want to risk suspicion or giving off the wrong impression. That would be fun. So just out of interest, what else have you picked up from the mansion? Odds and ends, basically. Some silverware and ceramics, most of a burnt rocking chair. And the painting, of course. Painting? A landscape from a wall in the mansion's lounge. Of little artistic value, but the artist features prominently in Defoe Manor's colorful history. Matthew Defoe? That's him, yes. Bethan, she runs the hotel. She asked if she could display it in the lobby. Instantly, I recalled the sick feeling I had felt in the lobby. I'd seen the painting, but had paid it little heed. Are you all right, Mr. Railby? You've gone rather pale. What? I'm sorry, I was just distracted by my thoughts for a moment. Lost in history, eh? Something like that. Railby, what the hell was that? The hell was what? You're just sitting there, and then you went all stiff like you'd seen a ghost. You didn't see it? See what, Mr. Railby? I'm sorry, I have to go. Something's wrong. Oh, well. We won't keep you then. See you later, maybe? Alright. Something is wrong with my audio, so we need to fix it. My head was spinning, a sudden nausea churned in my gut. The world seemed to be pulsating, the corners of the room wavering like a heat haze. Okay, I got a tiny bit of sound there. What's up, TCP? This is Trilby's Notes. This is the 3rd of 4 games in what's known as the Chizo Mythos. It's an old indie point-and-click adventure. May I say I imagined these things and I thought that must have been the case. Was I going out of my mind? Was the hotel really changing into some nightmarish twin? Was I the only one who could see it? If I was hallucinating, it was too complex. The harsh wooden floor beneath my feet felt real enough. The horrendous stench of rotting flesh that reached my nostrils could not have been conjured by my imagination. I decided I had to find John Defoe's idol as soon as possible. If not that, then at least the painting Chahal had mentioned. I was convinced that some connection lay between Defoe Manor and this sudden madness. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to save here real quick. Sound, please. Let me exit out and let me check the setup options again real quick. When I try to run this thing. Yes. Bam. Oh. That must be it. Gotta set it as a sound blast in the settings. Alright, hang on a second. I mean, it should be... Let me try that. I mean, the MIDI music seems to be fine. Let's try this. Ah, there we go. Now we got the wonk wonk. All right. Let me run back through this real quick. I'm not gonna read the stuff, but I just want to like see what these scenes are like with sound. There we go. Much better. Much better. Okay. Can y'all hear that? Does that sound good? It was better silent. I didn't understand the word body. Yeah. There we go. There we go. I don't know how long this game takes to speedrun. Ask Abed about Abed. What have you been up to lately, Professor? Oh, do call me Abed. I'm doing a little lecture tour on famous antique collections at the moment, taking me all over the place. I was only able to attend this fair because I'm speaking at Bangor on Monday. Ask... I think that's how you spell her name. How'd you come to work for the professor? I was a student of antiquities studying under him at Warwick University. He offered me the chance to supplement my studies. He was very talented. Let's see. Actually, can I skip this and ask about the idol? Yeah, I can. Okay. Small African figurine, that old thing, value. That will be fine. And then the painting, landscape. Matthew Defoe? That's him, yes. That's Abed about Abed. Oh. Are you alright, Mr. Rilby? You've gone rather pale. Welcome back, Fury. Distracted by my thoughts for a moment. Lost in history, eh? Something like that. Oh no! The hell was that? Yeah, you know. Alright, the body is here, his soul is not. Good writing. The graffiti read, his body is here, his soul is not. I wonder if this was referring to John Defoe. Gotta be quiet, your niece or kiddo are asleep in the next room. Look out window. Panes were cracked and bloodstained, and wooden boards blocked the view, apparently nailed haphazardly on from outside. They're gonna open these doors. Doors stuck shut. Blood was everywhere on the north wall. It had been used to spell out a word I could neither recognize nor pronounce. Our first indication of Chzo. The table. 2 steel tables are provided as some kind of work surface. Bloodstains, a severed head were a strong indication of what kind of work they were intended for. Look at head. The head was too badly smashed and mangled to recognize. Chizo. Take head. Even if I could foreseen a purpose for it, I had no intention of pocketing that disgusting thing. Get bed. Where once there had been a bed, there was now some kind of stone altar. Chains and manacles indicated there was for sacrificial purposes. Cheeto. Door stuck shut. The great old one is Chester Cheetah. Look at... Revere read priest or prisoner, acolyte or slave. I had no idea who it could be referring to. It didn't sound like something John Defoe would inspire. The wall says run, but there's no run button. Door stuck shut. Door stuck shut. Door stuck shut. Can I run? Like, use the cursor keys, idiot. Just shift. No, there's no running in this. Listening to her running down the stairs as someone had attempted to descend them while bleeding out with increasing speed. The corpse had apparently spent his last few moments of life making graffiti. Was he responsible for all the messages I had seen so far? The body was that of a young, muscular man, I hazarded, and was wearing some kind of old-fashioned military uniform, complete with blue tunic and riding boots. More to the point, his head was missing, and his hands were worn down to bloody wads of flesh and bone. I noticed a collection of handwritten pages on the floor near his body. Look at pages. They appeared to be entries from a diary. June 18th, Felicia and I took shelter from the storm in a decrepit old hotel in the forest. It seems to be completely deserted. So we bedded down on the floor of the lobby for the night. It is so peaceful here. The noise of the storm seems far away. July 19th. Exploring the hotel, it has become increasingly clear the place is not as innocent as it first seemed. We found ancient corpses and evidence of terrible deeds in several of the rooms. The storm has cleared, and we intend to leave as soon as possible. June 20th. I am certain now that devilry is at work. Every path we take through the forest brings us back to the hotel. We spent a whole day trying routes to no avail. Felicia keeps talking of a demon she fancies she saw in the hotel kitchen last night. Beta audio log. I wonder why I decided to go with King Quest 1 UI rather than the usual mouse-driven UI. I think you just wanted to try something different. I think you wanted a little variety. Felicia is dead. I was too late to help her. I saw her murdered just as she did. Perhaps I will be next. I'm beginning to understand. The murderous figure in black, the one whose body is savagely stretched into a mockery of form, is not the architect of this nightmare. Rather, this is the work of that hideous lord of the Forbidden Lands. Gods forgive me. I built a shrine to my captor in the lobby in an attempt to appease it. Nothing has changed. I have no more food. The horror is starting to affect my mind. I am certain my mind is because he forgot to use the shift key when he typed. I imagined for a moment that the hotel had changed and become finely decorated and welcoming as it must have once been in the past. I blinked and it returned to his normal, hateful self. The next few pages were sprinkled with blood, obscuring some of the text. What is his relationship to that disgusting beast? Is he a servant or a prisoner? Sometimes he acts alone, sometimes at the behest of a higher power. What does he want from me? He is after me now. I think I must have done something wrong. It hurts. That was the last readable entry. I decided not to take them with me. They were covered in blood and all stuck together. They were icky. I don't want them anymore. The lobby, too, had been tainted, and the painting I sought was absent. Presumably it only existed in the hotel's normal form. If that was the case, I need to find a way back there and dispel the hallucination that this truly was all in my mind. At this stage, I was beginning to wonder if this really was all John Defoe's doing. It didn't seem like his style, somehow, but what other evil could possibly be the culprit? Look at all. A pentagram had been scrawled on the north wall, and a cow's skull had been nailed in place over it. It seemed to be some kind of offering. Is that a skinned person on the reception desk? Look at skull. You're only here 5 minutes. Hotel's exterior was as corrupt as the interior. The ground beneath my feet was hard, red, and gritty like desiccated clay. Look at heads. The two heads on the right were decayed down to their skulls. The one on the left was very much fresh, its features made unfamiliar by the torment it had undergone. Hang in there, skeleton. No, fuck it. I'm out of here. Lol, no I'm not. Got skeleton. I stared blankly. Good job. Well done. Power walk out. Open door. Look at desk. Look at counter. Look at corpse. Some had been tied down to the altar, flayed, and had their innards removed. By the looks of the horrible claw marks and broken fingernails, they had been alive at least partway into the procedure. Yikes. Big ol' yikes. Office door is locked. That seems cheerful. Look at pictures. Left poster was some kind of portrait of the strange masked figure I had glimpsed in the hotel. The middle poster was blank. The third was smashed. Arcade machine. Even were fully working order, I had far better things I could have been doing. No, you don't, Trilby. Jesus. Appeared to be damaged with the front plate ajar and frayed wires emerging from the rear. Strangely, though, the screen was active and flashing blankly. In keeping with the alternate hotel's theme, the furniture looked like someone had been hurled against them with absolutely fatal force. Lying on the bar in a pool of gore was a pair of long-nosed pliers. Nice. Rusty but functional, took them with me. Smashed and boarded up like nearly all the windows I had found. This one was heavily bloodstained as if some poor wretch had been thrown into it. Some kind of ancient game about cleaning on the screen. The words "it feeds" were inexplicably spelled out on the north wall in the prerequisite bloody letters. The body had been completely filleted and still glistened wetly with blood. The hands and one of the feet were held in place around the door with 6-inch nails. The tables were universally hidden under tablecloths, yellowed and stinking with age. There was a plate of rancid meat on the center one, adding its evil stench to the air. Is it really that inexplicable when there's a body right there? That's probably where it came from. Open door. Kitchen doors refused to open. Okay. Take meat. I tore off a lump of meat to take with me. If I came up against anything hostile and carnivorous in this place, it would help to have something other than myself to offer it. Eat meat. The fetid stink of decay was already making me wretched. Consuming this stuff was just unthinkable. Alright, chat. I found delicious meat. So we should be in pretty good shape. Guess we'll tromp our way upstairs. Check this floor. And check this floor. Man, just one long staircase would have been really nice for this game. At wall. I couldn't even begin to decipher the meaning of the words. Man, not man, what the hell did it mean? Door. Love me. I saw once more the strange word I had seen on the wall in Abed's room, this time followed by the words, love me. Bloodstained stone altar replaced the bed. Doesn't look like there's anything interesting in here. Cha-cha-cha-cha-cha. Bring her back. Blessing you, running down the stairs as someone attempted to... Yeah. Oh, wait. Hang on. Words "bring her back" were spelt out on the north wall for unknown reasons. It looked like some kind of porcelain mannequin with bits missing. I couldn't see how it was attached to the wall. Okay, so we need parts. I got a lump of meat. Alright, I don't think they want the meat. So they want her back, huh? Trying meat butthole. So if it was a rotting green color and some kind of sharp weapon to create a slash right across the fetid cushion. I think maybe the pliers. I think there was something I could have done downstairs I didn't do. The only time to write run in blood on the wall is counterintuitive, yeah. I mean, it didn't help him. It's clearly not really going to help anybody else in the area. Look at door. 4 doors, none of which seemed inviting. One to the east led back to the hallway, one to the west leading to the kitchen. One seemed some kind of unisex bathroom, another large one that someone had boarded up. Some kind of flayed corpse was nailed in place over the door to the toilet, blocking the way. Can I remove board? Board seemed brittle, but not that brittle. Some kind of tool would be required. I don't think pliers are going to work, but... The nails were hammered into the boards too far. I couldn't get a grip on them with the pliers. Well, in that case... Use... Pliers were ideal for removing the nails. Wait, switch. Hi. Okay. I guess I... Oh, no! Oh, God. Shouldn't have bothered to try and do that. Okay. So we're gonna have one save file. It's gonna be called save. The right sink was full of blood. The left one was merely dirty. Gloomy lavatories were in a state of advanced disrepair. One of the cubicle doors was hanging off its hinges. The mirror above the counter was broken. The counter 2 sinks was covered in filth and mold. I was surprised a brand new sealed envelope was sitting between the basins. Take envelope. Babbler took the envelope. It was strangely bulky and tore it open. A white pill bottle. A note fell out into my hand. I here enclosed the note with this report. Trilby. If you're reading this, then you too have seen the hotel change. At present, I have no idea if the alternative hotel is part of the ethereal realm or some kind of construct, a pocket dimension. There is a definite correlation between one's level of agitation and one's tendency to reality shift. Fear is your enemy. It leaves you shining like a beacon for whatever evil brought us to this place. Enclose a bottle of tranquilizers for my personal first aid kit. When you find yourself shifting into the other place, take a pill and try to calm down, and the real hotel will return. Do not let it concern you. I'm researching the phenomenon. You're tasked to find Defoe. Good luck, Agent Lankman. Lankman's letter raised more questions than answered. I pocketed the pill bottle. Blood from okay, that didn't really help. Okay, none of the toilets appeared to be functional. One of them was overflowing with blood, which left me disinclined to investigate the others. All right, use pills. Hesitantly, I tipped a tranquilizer into my palm and swallowed it without water. It quickly took effect. I felt the anxiety lift from the pit of my stomach, and my dismal surroundings seemed to feel less imposing. Then I felt that strange sensation again of lightheadedness and detachment as the world around me began to quiver. Oh, this is nice. So it's so clean and well maintained. The very tiles of the floor seemed to glow with luminescence. The mirror above the counter was spotless and crystal clear. Dining room was rather small and sparse. It seemed the Clanbrowen Hotel was only one step above bed and breakfast. Kitchen doors still refused to open. Appeared to be locked, probably a deadbolt on the other side. Hotel bar seemed rather small. Then it was a rather small hotel. There were only 2 small tables and some kind of defunct arcade machine. 3 framed vintage advertisements for 3 brands of drink decorated the wall. If they were originals, they were probably quite valuable. I think it was a pub quiz machine. A piece of white card on the screen declared that it was out of order. Okay. Here's that painting we wanted to look at. I was frankly astonished that Matthew Defoe's painting had survived the immolation of Defoe Manor. As I stared at it, it seemed the surrounding room began to blur until only the painting was in focus. I fancied I could hear the creaks and whispers of Defoe Manor's hallways. I felt a bizarre urge to reach out and touch the painting. Touch. Painting. As I stepped closer, I could feel sound becoming muffled, my head spinning as if I were about to faint. My hand, as if pulled by an invisible string, reached out towards the clumsy brush strokes. Defoe Manor, July 28th, AD 1821. Matthew Defoe is 15 years old today. He's excitedly putting the finishing touches to a painting which his father commented on encouragingly. The first time he has ever been supportive of Matthew's artistic leanings. So, we got some of this backstory in the first game, but only in journal entries. This time we're getting actual flashbacks to events. Matthew is now convinced his father is lifting from the mysterious depression that has plagued him for as long as either of them can remember. Now he intends to make the painting absolutely perfect before showing it again. Knock, knock. Master Matthew? Sir Roderick has requested your presence in the trophy room. Thank you, James. May you be so good to inform him that I'll now be retiring for the night? Very good, James. Ah, there you are, boy. Let me introduce my son, Matthew. Hello. This is my friend, Mr. Smith. He's an expert on African tribal art. Not just a scholar, hardly even that, just someone with an interest in the subject. And he's offered to assess the figurine I brought back from my travels. I wasn't aware you had a family, Sir Roderick. Is your wife home too? Regrettably, Belinda's no longer with us. Oh, sorry. Quite all right, you couldn't have known. She succumbed to illness shortly after Matthew was born. I finished the painting I showed you, Father. Oh, good. Well, Mr. Smith, what do you think of the piece? An intriguing little puzzler, actually. The design is reminiscent of a few Central African tribal gods I'm aware of. But to be honest, I've never seen anything like this before. That pause, yeah. May I ask how you acquired it? I'm glad you asked. It was 20 years ago when I was a younger man on my first travels in the Dark Continent. We were traveling along the west coast when our bearers spotted a ship that had run aground. It was an English clipper named the Sea Angel, and a short exploration revealed that every single crewman had just disappeared. Of course, we immediately sent a letter to the nearest embassy to report the finding. But the point is, it was on the lowest deck of the ship that I found this very figurine you see before you today. An extraordinary tale. But how do you account for there being an African tribal carving on a British vessel? We were as confused as you are. It wasn't a slave trading vessel, but there must have been a Negro on the crew. It's been a personal mystery of mine ever since. I was hoping you'd help shed a little light on the matter. There is more to tell. I haven't even begun to recount the strange events that have surrounded the artifact. Would you care for a glass of brandy? Thank you, that would be most kind. Matthew, fetch brandy from the kitchen, and some glasses. Yes, Father. How could I, Trilby, possibly have known what Matthew was carrying that day? That's what happens if you try to hit tab and open his inventory. What did Matthew do next? The Fellmanor's kitchen was small and somewhat sparsely furnished, in contrast to the wealth of the house as a whole. Besides the sideboard, the only furniture was a large wooden table and narrow drinks cabinet in the corner. Cat table. Above the sideboard, there was a row of assorted utensils and knives. Someone had left a brown leather apron on the kitchen table. Do a little dance. I didn't understand the word do. Dance. Matthew tried to keep his spirits up. Matthew took the brandy bottle and a pair of appropriate glasses. Bang, bang. Hello. You haven't tried to speak to me in a while. Bang, bang. I did another painting today. I showed to Father, and he said it was promising. I keep trying to tell him about you, but he never listens. This person behind the door is John Defoe, the person who turned into the angry, evil ghost. You haven't knocked for me in so long I was beginning to wonder. Bang, bang. Hey, do you want to see my painting? Just not sure how I'd get it through the door. Oh, well, just open it. Open door! The door is locked as always. There was a substantial gap of about an inch at the bottom of the door. Put painting through gap. Probably just use painting on door. Slip painting under door. I'm pushing the painting under your door, okay? Just give it back when you're finished. How dare you, sir? You intrude on my hospitality and insult my judgment? That's Father. Get out of my house, you worm! I'd better see what's the matter. Father? Oh, it's you. Father, what happened? I heard shouting. That old fool! Told me some rubbish about my figurine. Said the only tribe it could have come from all died in slavery years ago. Actually had the nerve to accuse me of buying from a forger. Sorry, Father. What are you apologizing for? Where's that damn brandy? I've got it here. Give it to me! I'll go back to my room, Father. Show me your painting. Father? You said you had a painting. Show it to me. I can't, Father. And why not? Because... Come on, why not? Out with it! Because I gave it to the boy behind the door. I see. Father? Go back to your room, boy. I have to write my diary entry. Yes, Father. An hour of silence passed, and Matthew grew concerned about his father. Strangely, the most disturbing thing had been Sir Roderick's reaction to Matthew mentioning the boy behind the door. In the past, raising this had usually provoked a violent rage or an instant flat denial. Matthew wondered what sort of anxiety was going through his father's mind. Smash! What was that? Father, what are you doing? The door is open. Open door. Matthew was confused by his own reluctance. He had longed to see what was beyond the door his entire life, but now given the chance, he was struck with fear. He peered cautiously through and saw a set of rough stone steps leading down to some kind of basement. You've done this the moment you came into this world, demon child! May God forgive me for having a part in your creation! Father? What are you doing? Do you see what you've done? I didn't want him to see this. Do you see what you've done? Father, no! Father! Father! Boo! Ah! Apologies, dear boy, but I couldn't resist. You look so lost in that painting, I don't think you even saw me come in. What? Is everything all right, Terry? Everything's fine. Just for a moment there, I thought I saw... Never mind. We were talking about you after you ran out of the room. I said you seemed like something was making you terribly anxious. Frankly, I think that's still the case. I'm okay. Really, I am. Well, if you're sure. What's up, Shadows? Amazes me how much mileage a series gets atmosphere-wise with basic sprites, midis, and text. Horror is all about pacing and expectation. And it really genuinely doesn't matter what you use as long as you know how to use it to build tension and atmosphere and expectation. And much to Yahtzee's credit, he can do that. I was certain my mind was not playing tricks on me. I'd been back there in Defoe Manor looking through the eyes of Matthew Defoe. I'd seen the events that had created John Defoe. I saw his death at the hands of Sir Roderick, that terrible violent end that would bring him back as that awful rape. Good horror is like a good joke. It is. I think there's a lot of truth in that. But somehow, seeing that event, it was clear to me that there was more to this than the ghost of one youth. There had been something very wrong about that idol, even before it was used to destroy John Defoe. Name stood out in my memory, the Sea Angel. The name of the ship on which Sir Roderick had found the figurine. Now had a lead. Professor, do you know anything about a ship called the Sea Angel? Funny you should mention that name. Really old wooden chisel among the Defoe Manor artifacts. The words Sea Angel are carved in the handle. Where is this chisel? Out on display in the convention hall next to the dining room. What's all this about, Terry? It's nothing. It's just a little side project my clients want me to get onto. Thank you for your help. No problem. Take care of yourself. Look at painting. Frankly astonished at Matthew Defoe. Someone stuck a piece of paper under the frame, perhaps for me to find. Take paper. Page from a religious book I wasn't familiar with. I here enclose it with these notes. Victim 5, the child. The fifth man who desired judgment was the child, whose father held the carving of the slave. The prince came to him as at once rightly pleased with what he found, for the house of the child and his father already knew well the name of the king. And as the prince watched, the child was thrown down by his father and broken with the wood of the prince's soul. But as the child's body, mind, and soul began to drift apart, the prince held them together, and he said, "You are the child, and to you I grant power, for I see in you the potential that will grant my father, the king, his greatest wish. You shall be not of the land of technology, nor of the realm of magic, but of both. And thus you shall form the bridge. And across the bridge the king shall come to bring his message to the men of technology. Through you, child, the bridge will come, and thus I name you the Bridge Keeper." And the prince touched the child, and he was the bridge keeper, and his three aspects were granted power, so that his soul would join with the prince's soul in the wood of the tree. I did, Shadows. This is really nice. And the bridge keeper rose up and threw down his father and threw down his brother, and truly they did know the name of the king. And into the house of his father went the body and the mind of the bridge keeper. Cool. The hell is this? Reception desk was cheap. Someone appears to have left a matchbox on a desktop. Look at matchbox. Definitely not been there before. Perhaps the professor left it. Take matchbox. Only one match. Pick it anyway. Yep. Good old church sermonization of the events of Defoe Manor. No pick in the world that could unlock a deadbolt on the opposite side of a door. Trilby, I think you're just not trying hard enough, bud. If there's a will, there's a way. Pit pat, 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 pit pat. Actually. Nothing changed in here. I like text parser games. I think they're neat. This one though, the text parser really just kind of ends up being used to like open doors and stuff. There are some genuinely neat uses for the text parser in this game. One at the very end of the game. One of the things that this game I think is very notable for, it seriously has one of the best endings I've seen in an adventure game. Okay. Ask Abed about... Repeat what you told me about the Sea Angel? There's a chisel among the artifacts bearing that name. It's in the conference hall with the others. That's conference hall. Ask Abed about exhibit. About key. Alright, you wanted me to ask me about family, right? I didn't consider that subject relevant. Oh, and we're back. Hooray. If I remember correctly, this happens randomly. Or like semi-randomly. Like you can go through a certain number of screens and then eventually you get wooed back to Hell World. So we gotta get in here. Oh, you know what? You know what occurs to me? If we can get in here in the other world, then we can use the pills to go back and we get in on the other side of the locked door. But we're gonna need a tool. We're gonna need some kind of a tool. Do you have a match? Does that help? Can I... That's the thought, actually. Can I use the match to burn the boards? Without burning Hell Hotel down? Should probably be more specific. Burn board. Yeah, he specifically says some kind of tool. We need to find a hammer or a crowbar or something. Which typically isn't that flammable. Fire is a tool. I will agree with you on that, certainly. I haven't fully sorry. I haven't fully explored this place either. I have a thought. One of these doors open. Which one is it? There was another room I could go into here. Fire, ironically, is very cool. Let's use the pills in here and see what happens. Okay, you need a scene transition. Completely standard hotel room equipped with a bed, sofa, and television. I never liked television. The events of Diffo Manor gave me cause to like it even less. Small bedside cabinet serving the right-hand side of the bed. A phone sat on top. Use phone. Call someone. Okay. It hurts. Oh dear. When I give when pushed, I saw no direct means of opening it. Unlock door. Yeah. In a business breaking in a room with someone I didn't know. Game definitely has some very cool moments, yes. Door was either stuck or locked. Where would I find tool? Also, one of these rooms should be ours, right? Unlocked door. The door was locked. You locked it. Looked it up to remind yourself. I might need to look it up in a minute. I guess I could try knocking on doors. Oh, we're back in hell. Let's see. Can hell kill you? I don't think so. Right now, I mean, I don't think so. Can I knock on these doors? This strategy reached the point I felt where politeness could be done away with. Might get chased eventually. No reply. Oh, hello. So this is pretty neat. The hell? I went ahead and looked up what I was supposed to do, and what? Wow, okay. I I don't think I figured this out when I played this before. I would be very surprised. On the north wall, I noticed what I presumed to be a smoke alarm. Use match on... Use match. Use match. Pushed my way through the door and descended the fire escape. Hey, it's the Half-Life walking around outside noise. Probably used for garden maintenance, tool storage, that sort of thing. An old iron crowbar was the only tool being stored at the time. Take crowbar. Yes, I do believe this crowbar will serve some kind of purpose. Alright, so now we should be able to do the thing that I was thinking we would do. Touch the table and let the physics effect to clip your way out of the hotel. There we go. Perfect timing. Use crowbar on boards. As I suspected, the stress proved too much for the ancient crowbar, which was bent to uselessness. I discarded it. Bullshit. Have you ever seen a crowbar in your life that would break just from popping brittle boards off a door? Judging by the smell, this room had probably not been ventured into for years. Desiccated corpses dangled from the ceiling, left to rot by some warped interior decorator. And yeah, a bent crowbar is still very useful. Sack type went in inside, oozing foulness in the corner. Open bag. Your thought of what that bag could contain made me feel ill. Prerequisite: blood stains to fade to an ugly brown color over time and not make them any less unnerving. It had been used to daub some kind of symbol on the north wall. Feel bad for the guy who got hung up by his ass? Yeah, clearly. I actually wonder if that was an influence. Oh, Whispering's very sands of time. Wonder if that was an influence. Probably, yeah. Anyway. Oh, shit, I did that wrong. I should have taken the pill before going in here. Damn it. Ah, I screwed that up. There we go. Perfect. There we go. Professor Hall's antique show was as sparse as its small venue would indicate. A couple of tables were laid out with various trinkets. A charred rocking chair was the centerpiece. An unopened bottle of some kind of soft drink sitting on the end table in the corner. On the display tables, I recognized one or two Defoe Manor artifacts. Among the miscellaneous knickknacks, a set of manacles, rescued no doubt. The Manor's basement stood out the most. By the chisel the professor had mentioned next to the pile of books on the north table. Do the drink with me. Something told me it would come in useful. On the north wall were three framed monochrome photographs of scenes from around Clanbrownwen Island, obviously placed by the hotel and not part of the exhibit. A loud buzzing played in my ears and a vision began to cloud as I reached over and laid my hand upon the tool. Somewhere in the Atlantic, July 25th, AD 1789. We're going further back. Buddha has been a great warrior. In battle, his skill was thought unmatched in all of Africa. He had respect, a great house, a slew of beautiful women, children to make any father proud. But through just one mistake, it had all been torn away. His mistake was in standing by his beloved king when the invaders from the coastal kingdom arrived. Now his great house was ruined, his women, children murdered. And for Buddha, the worst fate of all, sold to the white men exchanged for weapons, shackled with his fellows in the hold of a slave ship. Buddha was strong. Perhaps he could have lived as a slave, but then came the sickness. Simple fever, no doubt to be gone the next day. The white men took no chances and threw him overboard. For days, Buddha drifted, waiting for the black cloud of death to descend. Having lost everything, he now sought only the embrace of the deep, a welcome end to a life betrayed. The end did not come then. Coming around, Captain. Voice is unfamiliar, speaking an unfamiliar language. Buddha was suddenly terrified that the slavers must have returned, but he was as weak as a newborn and could not move or speak. Yeah, because illnesses only last a couple days. When I get sick, it's for a month or two. When I get sick, it's usually like I'll feel it coming on, and then the next day is like, boom. Like that's the big one. That's when I'm just like destroyed. And then after that, it's the long healing period. And usually like topped off by a cough that lasts for like 2 months. It's pretty excessive. Fortunately, I haven't been sick in a while, other than my vertigo thing. So, Buddha was like we picked him up just in time. Don't know how long he's been drifting out here, but he can't have lasted much longer. Good Lord. Look upon it, men. The greatest evidence we have of humanity's inherent evil. Never forget that men, sailors, such as you or I did this, left this poor wretch to die. Slavers aren't sailors like you or I, Captain. No. I do not know how those devils can have the audacity to still call themselves human. Today there is no pride being an Englishman, buddy. I got some bad news for you about your future. Find a new passenger some quarters, make them comfortable. Passenger, Captain. Every innocent who sets foot on my ship is a free man. Something about this policy you find questionable? Not at all, Captain. No, these were not the slavers. The ship was different. These, less crowded with terrified black faces. Yeah, an Englishman would never do something like that. There was anger in the voices of the white men, but not directed at Mbuda. Still frightened, but somewhat reassured, Mbuda passed out. Oops. To have been rescued by the ship of these good white men had been a fantastic stroke of good fortune. He decided that it had been the will of the gods that he should survive and that proper thanks would be in order. An idol! That was the answer. If he could just find some suitable wood and a sharp blade, he would carve the finest idol of his life. Man. Buddha could not understand the white man's language, and any communication would have to be non-verbal. One or two wooden barrels were scattered around for convenient reach. Okay, sailor. No place where sailors hang out. Several crewmen tending the ship scattered around the deck. Despite the language barrier, Buddha could tell they were friendly and cordial. Ask man about... Does he have a chisel? Buddha, point at... Alright there, laddie. Oh, I see. You want something to carve with. Here. The sailor handed Buddha a sharp, almost brand new workman's chisel. Bring it back when you're finished with it. Alright, now I need to find some wood. Can we dance? Buddha tried to keep his spirit. Go down. Look at box. Large crate was sitting in the shaft of light with letters stenciled on them Buddha did not recognize. It was cheaply made with poor quality nails. Some of the boards looked ready to fall off. Okay, board. The wood off the crate seemed ideal for Buddha's intentions. He decided to leave it here until he was ready to carve the idol. New. With the chisel and the wood of the crate, Buddha could finally create his offering. After several hours, Buddha was very pleased with the result, a fine rendition of his kingdom's god of fertility and good fortune. All that remained now is to return the chisel. Buddha decided the owl was fine where it was. There was no need to move it. Plot demands that it stay there. Hurts. Poor Buddha. The vision faded and I felt myself being hurled forcefully back into the present day. That figure loves to crunch. A tall, thin creature, that black-clad ghoul. What was the significance of my predicament? Why did it appear again and again throughout history to spread death and horror? There was no connection to the idol's shape or Buddha's tribal deities. The tall man was no fertility god. Yeah, definitely not fertility god. It must have been connected to the wood of that crate somehow. There had been a name on that crate. Buddha hadn't been able to read it, but I, looking through his eyes, had. O'Malley Shipping. Could the owner have been an ancestor of Siobhan's? It was a flimsy possibility, but at that point, my only lead. I resolved to discuss this with Siobhan at the earliest opportunity. Another paper. I recognized it as being from the same source, the one under the painting in the lobby. When making the wood into the crate to begin with, it pissed the guy off first. Yeah, and I think we'll get to that, actually. Victim 4, the slave. The fourth man who desired judgment was the slave who had not been brought Freyhorn's message and who tormented the wood that was the prince's soul with a sharpened blade. The prince came to him and he struck the slave down and he knew the name of the king. And the prince said, "Not one of your household shall I leave alive, slave, for thrice now have I brought my warning, and any who still fail to heed shall be named as fool and judged most unworthy in our sight." Well, that sucks. Finally, Oh, it's you. Thought you might have been the serving staff at last. Paris asked right. Ask a bit about food. Oh, fuck you, Trilby. You can make small talk. Where's Siobhan? She said she was going to get a drink. I keep telling her it's not right for a girl her age to drink so much. What do I know about young people today? The young kids and their drinks and their uncursed idols. Trilby, have you seen any of the hotel staff anywhere? I'm afraid not. Perhaps they go to bed early in these parts. Do you know anything about the history of your family? I wouldn't be much of a history student if I didn't, now would I? Researching my family tree as part of my diploma. That's ideal. I appreciate this may sound like an odd question, but trust me when I say it's important. Did your family run a shipping company in the late 18th century? That is an odd question. I do remember reading something about O'Malley shipping. I'd have to check my notes. I left them in my book bag. You meet me in my room in about 5 minutes? I'm in 2A next to Abed. Certainly. I'll see you there then. Alright, let's go work our way over there. Glad she's so open about her family history? Yeah, definitely. Knock on door. Door's open. It is now. Can I please, Terry? You have the papers? Must you get right down to business? Come and sit down. Let's talk. How are you feeling? We're a little worried about you. I have these moments of illness. What do you want to talk about? Defoe Manor. Oh. Kind of interests me. I was really into the media coverage of the incident at the time. This client of yours, the one who wants the figurine, what does he know about it? Well, he has an interest in the occult, and there's some nonsense story going around about it. Something about the idol being a vessel for an evil ghost. I wasn't really paying attention. Really? I don't remember hearing about that in any of the reports. No, you wouldn't have. It wasn't widely. You heard the story that Trilby was in the house? I could feel cold sweat drooling down my spine. Every fiber of my being was concentrating on not giving any outward signs of alarm as Siobhan spoke of my secret name with wide-eyed enthusiasm. No one believes it, but Simone Taylor and sister was true right up until, well, you know. He says he saved her from the house. I think that's a little far-fetched. That's exactly what Abed says. He says a ghost is one thing, but throwing Trilby into it just makes it seem silly. Truth be told, I don't think Abed believes in Trilby any more than he does ghosts. He's so grounded in reality. Sensible attitude. Have you always been an antique dealer? Uh-oh. Please, I came here to talk about... Put that another way. Have you ever been an antique dealer? I knew it! Outfit the Terry Railby. You're him! You were in Defoe Manor. And now you come here to finish off the ghost. Fine. I always knew there was something else. In this world, there was something better, more glamorous, just below the surface. Will you take me with you? Listen to me. There's nothing glamorous about what I do. I live in shadows that threaten to consume me every single day. If you pursue this any further, you're going to walk straight into one. What are you talking about? There's something extremely dangerous in the hotel. I don't know what it is, but... Oh, God. No! Oh, Trilby, you idiot. What do I do next? Get up. If I push myself up, the muscles in my arms gave me only a quiver of fear in response to my urging. Kick. It wasn't close enough. Okay. Kick. Oh, shit. Siobhan was out cold but uninjured. She would probably be safe on her bed while I continued my investigation. Please, yeah. Consider myself lucky I was not as skilled in unarmed combat as I thought. Okay, clearly uninjured. Perfectly ordinary student's backpack for carrying books and personal possessions. Nobody's home. And we're back to Hell Lane. A voluntary shudder went through me as recognition dawned. It was the same chair from the living room in Defoe Manor, the room I had opted to sleep in for those 5 days. Ancient shingle from an establishment called the Unicorn was leaning against one of the tables. Hello? About... What can I ask about? Oh, we've already been over that. I mean, wait, was I supposed to get the stuff from her bag? Oh, I was. Shoot. Waste a bunch of time. Didn't need to come down here at all. Huh? Gone. Under the circumstances of Siobhan probably wouldn't mind. There were a few textbooks, half-empty water bottle, a large folder marked O'Malley family history. This, I decided, was my quarry. I flipped through the pages until I reached the information relevant to the 18th century and read my discoveries out loud. Liverpool-based O'Malley Shipping Company ran for 3 generations of the family in the mid to late 18th century until the loss of one of their clippers drove the company to bankruptcy. The owner at the time, Jacob O'Malley, placed the blame somewhat irrationally on a shipping crate, which family legend alleged to be haunted and that had been on the ship at the time. There are numerous tales of bizarre events surrounding the crate, and the story of the crate's origin is no less mysterious. It goes that a strange young man came to a carpenter's at the Liverpool dockyards with a very expensive-looking harpsichord, which he insisted be smashed up and the wood be used for whatever purpose the carpenter desired. He refused to leave until the instrument had been utterly broken into its component parts and from his eyes, and from the wood sent to be made into crates for O'Malley shipping. Impressed for his name, the man identified himself as one Jack Freehorn. The Rooms of Jack Freehorn, July 28th, 1778. What trifle have you been wasting your father's money on now, Jack? What does it look like? It looks like a virginal? A harpsichord, actually, in the Flemish style. Quite old, quite expensive. Well, I suppose I should be grateful that something is distracting you from the occult for once. I fear you may be speaking too soon, my friend. God, I should have known. You and your silly obsession. They're very expensive, Douglas. Devilry inhabits this thing. The instrument as a whole is, for the most part, untainted by the ethereal realm, but its keys are what sparked my interest. Unusually, they've been carved from centuries-old English oak. And that's the interesting part. I'll not be disheartened by that sharp tongue of yours. The wood has gone through many incarnations before being incorporated into this device. Items of furniture, building material, in fact, just over 200 years ago, as part of a wall. Wall of a certain inn on a well-traveled road in Wales. So please you remember. You could hardly forget it the way you have been obsessing quite heartily over it of late. Your correspondence persists in filling your head with rubbish about ghosts and demons. I count myself very lucky to have tracked down even a small piece of that hostelry. I know I've already told you some of the wonderful stories attached to it. This instrument has had its fair share of mysterious happenings. The usual batch of strange noises, sudden madness, and inexplicable deaths. See sense, my friend. This curiosity of yours for all things ungodly has no doubt already befouled your immortal soul. You're a fine fellow, Wilbur, but you have not a drop of romance in your body. Now, stop browbeating me from my inquiring mind, and let us take dinner. That night, Jack was stirred from his bed by the sound of music emanating from his new instrument. His first thought was anger, mostly because the harpsichord was an antique, never intended to be played. But then he listened to the haunting, melancholy tune and felt his stomach roll inexplicably with fear. Who's down there? Wilbur, is that you? Jack's desk was covered, untitling letters, notes, and papers he'd been studying lately. A flintlock pistol given to Jack by his father lay gathering dust atop a pile of correspondence. Take pistol. Jack took the gun with him to confront the intruder. It's like most adventure games we've made better with more Sam and Max. Agreed. Freshly furnished room below Jack's bedroom is dominated now by his new harpsichord. The same instrument was now being tormented at the spindly hands of the emaciated intruder. That was a really funny say. It's because he's so damn tall. Jack could not take a step further because he realized with a lurch that he recognized the dark figure that sat at the keys. He had read of the strange entity that reoccurred frequently in stories surrounding the Unicorn Inn and the objects that were later constructed from its wood. And he knew with absolute certainty that the tall man would destroy him were he not destroyed first. Use gun unman. That's how you solve every puzzle in a first-person shooter. Shoot. Shoot, man. You won't take me, demon! Wilbur? No. Oh god, no! But I could have sworn. You! I know you. You have... God. Please forgive me, your majesty, for my transgressions. I'm a worthless, craven fool, not worth a second of your precious time. I beg you, spare me. I redeem myself for my offense. I'll be yours forever, my body, mind, and soul. Thank you, my lord. Thank you. Identify himself as one Jack Freehorn. Brave group of paganist worshippers. Latest flashback, my knowledge of the history of the cursed wood gained another step. Before the crate, it had been a harpsichord, and sometime before the harpsichord, it had been part of some kind of hostelry in Wales. An inn called the Unicorn. Why did that ring a bell somewhere in my recent memory? I'd definitely seen something in the Clan Bronwyn Hotel that was linked to the place, but where? I did skip a text box, unfortunately. Yeah, I didn't mean to. Victim 3, Freehorn. The third man who desired judgment was Freehorn, who had bought from those who made luxuries with the wood that was the prince's soul. The prince came and struck down the lover of Freehorn, and Freehorn knew the name of the king. And Freehorn said, I know you now, O prince, who was the arrogant man, and I anticipate your wish, and I will devote myself to spreading the teachings you have brought me and the lore of the love of our king. And the prince was satisfied, and Freehorn called all those who would listen, and they formed an order of the blessed agonies that would work to redeem the follies of the men of technology. So I think this is what the skip text box was referring to. Freehorn founded a cult in service to this tall man. Really paged because it looked like he shit himself. He knew the majesty of the prince. Seriously. The majesty of the prince's man-spreading. Well, this is lovely. Huh? Damn it, I didn't mean to skip another text box. We'd probably save. It sucks if you push, it's not just enter, if you push any key, it skips it. Okay, group save. Linkman? Linkman, wait! What the hell? What once been a kitchen was now some kind of torture room. I found myself wondering whether it was used for extracting information or merely to entertain an alternate hotel's hellish proprietor. The grimy cellar had been abandoned for some time. A large section of the floor was worn away. The worn-down area had been conquered by a swarm of greasy black beetles. So, it's pretty clear that we don't want to walk across there. Each was about the size of a child's fist. They scuttled back and forth across the floor, slipping in and out of heavy cracks in the foundations. Looking at them made me feel quite nauseous. At least 2 individuals had met with the sticky ends down here. One of them had been almost completely picked clean by the beetles. The other I noticed was heavily decayed except for its hand, which was fresh and pink. I wonder if this had something to do with the puddle of water it was lying in. Interesting. Alright, I can save and do this for science. Gross. Includes the text of the notes found in the Clanbrown Hotel on August 4th by an STV investigation team. At the time of writing, Trilby remains missing. Resume. Sure does take its sweet time, doesn't it? Here we go. Emergency door reviews are brudged and appear to be jammed. Okay. Actually, I took another pill and waited for the anxiety to lift, but it did not. To my unending concern, I realized the decay of the alternate hotel had spread, either to me or to the pills, and they no longer worked. I had to find a way to restore their effect, or at least another method of calming myself. Oh. Before smartphones existed, or you could just flip aimlessly and feel better. So we got that chunk of rotten meat. That'll get their attention. Have the hand? I doubt it. I could have taken that with me. Water. In the far corner of the room was a puddle of water created by drips from above. It had a curious color to it, and the drops seemed to glow with their own illumination. The liquid was having a strange effect on a nearby corpse. Well, let's drink it. It's almost as if the water was drawing me to it, much like a scrabbling thing in my mind, like the chisel or the painting, but more like a beckoning siren. I couldn't help myself. I crouched down and dipped my hand in. It felt uncommonly refreshing, and brought an amount up to my lips my unhygienic surroundings forgotten. As a pleasant feeling, the simultaneous coolness and warmth spread from my stomach, I realized that the water had some sort of rejuvenating effect. I had no explanation for this, but at the time, I didn't care. Beginning to feel in the back of my mind the familiar trickling sensation to indicate a reality shift, so I swiftly scooped up a few drops of the liquid in my pill bottle, shaking it through the remaining pills. So now we've made like a magic water pill slurry. Recipe poison. Hotel cellar was lit by a single spotlight, seemed almost completely bare. Dusty cardboard crates, wine rack. Recent vintage, not an unpleasant one. I see every reason to take wine at all times. I know interest in the hotel's food storage. I think one consequence of the text parser in this is like it almost feels like there's less to interact with. Because you can't just click around. Oh, Terry, it's you. Have you seen Siobhan? I was about to ask you that. What did you do to the girl? I hope you don't intend to seduce her away from my service. But I need you to understand. You and I and Siobhan are all in critical danger. There's something evil in this hotel and it's closing in fast. Mr. Relby, I've been over this hotel several times. Apart from us, there's absolutely nothing here. Please keep your fairy stories in the playroom where they belong. Nah, fine. Ancient shingle establishment called the Unicorn. Could this have been the same unicorn mentioned by Jack Freehorn? The buzzing in my ears that manifested as I inspected the shingle indicated so. I didn't handle the exhibits, please, Terry. Ask Abed about sign. Do you know anything about an inn called the Unicorn? Ah, you noticed my shingle. I picked it up as a curiosity at an antique fair a couple of years ago. Dates all the way back to the Elizabethan period, from what I understand. Can't find a buyer for the damn thing. Suppose you have any clients who might go for it? Possibly. Do you have your permission to examine it? Of course. Ah, there we go. I have to touch it to assess the texture. By all means, do so. As long as you're not going to test the strength over your knee or anything. Neil's design was a simple one of a unicorn's head and half profile painted with average ability on a dark oak backing. As I pressed my fingertips to it, however, the design seemed to extrude from its backing like a hologram and seemed to draw closer. Wait, what was that? I think I accidentally turned my earbuds off. There we go. Wow, that was weird. Huh. I didn't realize that was a thing I could do. Hey, this is kind of cool. Something. Okay. Huh. Sorry. Just making interesting discoveries tonight. As I pressed my fingertips to it, however, the design seemed to extrude from its backing like a hologram and seemed to draw closer until my vision was filled with wood grain and mediocre brushstroke. I vaguely detected the professor speaking to me on the very edge of hearing, but by the time I realized, I was already gone. Somewhere in Wales, July 28th, AD 1581. 1581. Owen Somerset, a traveling merchant, was on his way back to his wife and family in London, having concluded some business dealings in Ceredigion? Somerset, of course, was the family name of Dr. Jonathan Somerset. who we thought was the main character of 7 Days, a skeptic, but is actually who the main character presumably killed and replaced. Caught suddenly by a summer storm, he spied in by the side of the road and marveled at his good fortune. Faith, 'tis an evil storm that blights the sky tonight. Aye. I must have the Almighty on my side to find myself so close to an inn as it broke out. Aye, perhaps. The innkeeper seemed quite taciturn, but Owen was in a good mood and was determined for it not to leave him. It was probably too late to continue riding, even if the storm cleared. Owen decided to inquire after a room for the night. Good evening, sir. Would it be possible to secure a bed for the night? Be a wiser man than I. Go from this place and never return. What? There's a curse upon this inn. I will not have an innocent doomed to the same fate as I. Can I insist? Insist. Oh, so this guy was an ancestor of Trilby? I mean, that's not outside the realm of possibility either, honestly. Okay, well, fuck it. We're leaving. I have plenty of gold to pay for my board. Devil cannot be bought off, my friend. Devil, what is the nature of this curse? This inn was built by my father 20 years ago. From the wood of a fallen oak he stumbled upon on an island north of here. He noticed human bones scattered around, but did not heed them. Well, then has been a curse on our bloodline ever since. Madness and death claims those who stay here. This time last year it claimed my father. Soon I am certain it shall claim me. So why do you remain? I can just keep asking about a room and this progresses. I do not believe in fleeing from the mistakes of the past. If the Almighty wills that my family must pay for our errors, then this I accept. But I would not see another suffer for our sins. Leave now before the shadows take you. Sir, I have little patience for fables, and even less for riding after sundown in the middle of a downpour. Lend me a room and I shall take the responsibility for my own well-being. You will insist? Not only will I insist, I will pay whatever price you ask. Go then, take the upstairs room. If you remain by the morn, you shall pay nothing at all. I didn't understand the word grog. I understand the word grog. And sleep. Alan lay himself down, intending only to test the bed's softness, but in his exhaustion he quickly succumbed to sleep. Succumbed? In the early hours of the morning, something jolted Owen from his slumber. Piercing sound? No. Piercing smell. Nothing seemed to be burning in the bedroom, so the smoke had to be coming from downstairs. It was the tiniest, saddest fire. Blaze had been set before the front door, but by whom? The innkeeper? Oh, didn't have anything on hand he could use to put the fire out. Owen was not in the mood for alcohol. Oh, game, I disagree. Ah, we need to take the sheet. Took the sheet with him, presumably for comfort. Bloop. What in God's name? Oh God. It's him, the innkeeper! What kind of... Who could have... Was again I returned, disoriented from my vision. Closing in on the source of the madness. The innkeeper had said that the wood came from a tree on an island. Could that have been Clan Bronwyn Island? Given what I was seeing, it seemed a valid, if worrying, possibility. Besides that, it seemed I had no other leads, so what would I do? I was determined not to let the trail end there. They were just a single clue. Trilby, I know you're following a trail. Go to the roof if you wish to proceed. Lankman. Victim 2, the innkeeper. The second man who desired judgment was the innkeeper, who had bought the wood of the tree and built from it his house. The prince came to him and his guest, and he struck the innkeeper down, and the innkeeper knew the name of the king. And the prince turned to the innkeeper's guest and said, "You shall not let live, for once before have I made this warning, and still my soul aches with what is done to the wood. That is my soul, and I will spare no man who injures me in this way." And the innkeeper's guest knew the name of the king. I really like the way those notes are written. Actually, I think that's really cool. The hell is that? A porcelain leg lay upon the desktop. Take leg. I won't be needing that ever. Yeah, nice. Free leg. Might come in handy. Either stuck or lock. Okay, I think we reached the scavenger hunt portion of the game, if I remember correctly. Push on it. No, I think may have made sense in another time plays, but not then. After several minutes, I was pretty sure I'd succeed in picking the lock, but the door still refused to open. Okay, yeah. So this is tied to that porcelain torso we saw in the Hell Hotel. We gotta find his limbs now. Let's see here. Yep, there's an arm. Arm from some kind of extremely well-crafted life-size porcelain doll. Take arm. Okay. I am peeking at a walkthrough right now. I believe that is the only one that's in one of these rooms. The amount of time spent navigating these stairs in this hotel is slightly excessive. Just a bit. Especially since they're not in line with each other. I encountered far stronger locks in my time and picked it open within 10 minutes. It was tiny, and the absence of ventilation made the air very stuffy and thick. The only features were a safe and a table. Door appeared to be jammed shut. This came as something of relief. My commands are starting to break down. There's some. Take away. Luge. In the hotel office was swimming in dust. The proprietors clearly felt that record keeping was more of a formality than a necessity. The corner of the room is a diminutive but sturdy steel safe. Hadn't had cause to crack safes for some time. My hands instantly went in automatic. The thieving mindset returning like an old friend. When the job was done and the safe open, my nostalgia faded into puzzlement when I found it empty. So once I actually crack a safe that actually contained something. That's so much to ask. I think this means, though, if we come back in the other world, that safe should be up. Should be unlocked or open. Okay, I got the arms, legs, we just need the head. Has to be specifically about something. I was at the bar, someone with the worst for a drink. He appeared to be staring fixedly at a disembodied porcelain head in front of him. Take head. May I borrow that head, Professor? Oh, I see. You took one companion of mine away, and now you want another. I bet it's just a head. What could you possibly need it for? You don't understand. No one understands me. Go get me a drink, then we'll talk. Oh, god damn it. Now I need that bottle of wine. They'd only let me have it the first time around. Let's look at this world. No one understands me. Shit. What? What? I think there's a chance, because I am peeking a walkthrough, there's a chance that you have to ask a very specific question to Abed first. I thought I had satisfied the condition, but apparently not. No, that's the same exact response. I took the wine. Perhaps this would appease the drunken professor upstairs. Okay, so this, I believe, was just like a programming error. We got the exact same dialogue, but we had to specifically ask the professor about the head to trigger that. Honestly, totally unnecessary. I hate it. I genuinely hate it when adventure games, when point-and-click adventure games won't let you do something until you know why you're doing it. Professor? Where's he gone now? Do you see who we are? Oh, too late. Oh God, no, he shifted. Ovid's drunken misery has caused him to shift in the dark hotel. The jolly man with whom I had grown fond lay decapitated on the floor. With Siobhan's disappearance, I was now truly alone. The professor had known nothing of the horror. He was blameless, ignorant of any matter involving Defoe Manor or cursed idol, but seeing my dark captor cared little for these facts. I mean, he killed me too, you skinny bastard! You do so easily, so quickly, why won't you face me? Display a warped sense of humor, the porcelain head was sitting where Abed's old one had been. Alright, give me that head. Pulled the head out of the stump, trying not to think about the wet cracking noise this caused. Gross. Gross. Alright, so let's take this up to the porcelain lady at the top of the stairs. I am not going to lie to you, chat. It's been a bit of a challenge to stay awake tonight. I mean, the main issue here is that I am absolutely dead tired. But the other issue is that compared to 5 Days a Stranger and even 7 Days a Skeptic, I think the layout of this game and the text parser aspect of it make it a much slower paced game. And if you're already really worn out, you're trying to stream something at like 11:30 at night, it makes it a bit hard to hang with. What's the command for this? Seriously? Attached limbs. Place left arm, left leg, right leg, head. The body was intact. For reasons I couldn't explain, I sensed that something had changed back in the real world. What kind of ridiculous locking mechanism is this? I mean, clearly this is an important part of the story, and like it's by no means a bad game, but just a very slow-paced one. View of the island was spectacular, but most of the roofs seemed to be sectioned off by a metal fence. Just about the only feature within reach was a piece of paper held down by a stone. Shifting world is very cool, yeah. I do like that aspect of it, and I like that the puzzles interact across the border. Clan Bronwyn Island, July 28th, AD 1501. Sturdy tree, this. It took us from dawn to dusk, but we finally have it down. Tired, father. It was indeed clever of us to investigate this island, eh, boy? I've never seen such a gigantic oak, nor do I expect to again. This wood shall keep us in the business of carpentry for years to come. Father, look at these stones. Do you think there was once a house here? Why must you always look everywhere but at what matters? This is your father? Is something troubling you, father? Get rock. Throw rock at man. Doink! I have fucked up! Where am I? Must have shifted in this dark world during the vision. Trilby! John? Thank God, I thought I was all alone. What happened to you? I don't know. After you knocked me out in my room, I woke up and everything was like this. The hotel's ruined, there's blood everywhere. Saw this horrible man. Tall, thin, long black coat. You know him. Enough to know you're lucky to be alive. He didn't notice me, so I ran up here to hide. How'd you get past the doll? What doll? So what the hell's going on? I told you what would happen if you followed me into the shadows. This isn't your problem. Take these. What are these? Tranquilizer pills. Take one. When you calm down, the hotel will go back to normal. Won't you need them? I don't need to run away anymore. Joey, wait! Where are you going? I know enough now. I know where the wood came from. Perhaps I can find a way to end this. I was right, the cursed wood came from Clan Bronwyn Island, but what good does that knowledge do me? Wait a second, I never got around to reading the letter I took from under that rock. Trilby, I'm very close to ending this. Meet me in the hotel basement. I must show you my discovery. Lankman. The other page was another of those religious papers. Book of Victims. Victim 1, the woodcutter. The first of those against whom the prince sought vengeance was the woodcutter, he who had held the axe that first felled the tree. The prince came to him and his son, and he struck the woodcutter down, and the woodcutter knew the name of the king. And the prince turned to the woodcutter's son and said, You I shall let live, for you are young and of the innocent, and that you may go among your people and tell them of what I will wrought. And the woodcutter's son fled and told all of what he had seen, but the men of technology are arrogant, and his words were unheeded. Probably has no idea what he meant at all about some wood. Oh. Okay. Hang on one sec. I need to check something real quick. Something seems off here. Yeah, that's what I thought. Damn it. Somehow the music that I was playing when I started this up started playing again in the background, and I don't know why. That was not the soundtrack to the game. And yeah, for some reason, AGS on my system, it renders these menus incredibly slowly. I mean, that was a very appropriate soundtrack for the game, but not the authentic. Yeah, this is just supposed to be whispering. It did suit the game really, really well, to be fair. It really was cool, honestly. Oh, hole in the foundations. Yeah, I've had a cola the whole time. I don't know what it's for. Get in the hole. Climb down hole. There we go. Hey, look what I found. I was in some kind of cavern dug out of the rock beneath the hotel. It seemed to be in a constant state of flux, flitting back and forth between the real world and its dark twin. I was certain that the gigantic step in the middle of the floor had something to do with this. This was it, I was certain. The remains of the tree that Boyle and his father cut down, its wood being later used to construct an inn, a harpsichord, a shipping crate, and an idol. I could feel that same scrabbling in my mind that I felt just before all of my visions. This time, it was the stump itself that seemed to be beckoning me closer. Touch the stump. Van Bronwyn Peninsula, July 28th, 55 BC. We've gone all the way back. Cabadath, the Celtic druid, awaits the return of his friend and colleague Galden, who brings news of the invasion of Anglesey by the Roman Suetonius Paulinus. Having fallen out of favor with his fellows for certain radical beliefs and activities, he's a radical pagan. Cabadath lives in solitude in this remote forest clearing and prefers not to travel himself. Cabadath! Galden, you bring news? The foreigners have landed. They could not be deterred by our sorcery. All is lost. Oh, certain are you? They are making their way across the land, eliminating resistance. Even you out here will be brought down within days. Sorry, Cabadath. And the great druids of Anglesey bow so easily to this brash foreign power? Do not hang your head yet, my friend. Perhaps the activities for which I was ostracized could yet spell an answer. What are you talking about? You know my dealings with the ethereal realm. I know what you claim. That there exists some otherworldly territory populated by demons and creatures of magic. And that you, Cabadath, can somehow commune with these creatures. Come inside and I shall explain. Cabadath, what is this madness? In my dealings with the ethereal realm, I have learned many powerful demons and elementals. But there is one spoken of only reluctantly, a beast possessing of awesome power. You plan to summon a demon? The most terrible of them all, who strikes fear into even the most unflappable creatures I have spoken with. A pain elemental, indeed the only pain elemental, ruler of a desolate wasteland where none venture. Invulnerable, hugely potent beast that feeds on the agony of others. And today is his day. The day when the boundaries between the realms weaken and he glimpses our world. To bring him through at that point should be simple. Even if you could conjure such a thing. How would you have it defend our land? I have much knowledge in the ways of magic. The correct bindings, any demon can be forced to my will. I completed the preparations while I waited for your return. All that remains is the summoning. Cabadath, it pains me to see you build your hopes on such nonsense. Silent and watch. Shall see your nonsense soon enough. This hall of death, and by the light of Belenus' gift, I summon you. I bring you gifts to mark your path. I feed you with pain. I call you with madness. I summon you with the greatest loss. And I bind you by your true name. Chizo! By the gods. I've reached out to you through the void, Chizo. I command you by your true name. Show yourself! Cabadath, please stop! Show yourself! Uh-oh. It's huge! It is larger than I anticipated. But Chizo must obey the rules of magic. It is bound, I can command it. Or not. No! It's far more powerful than I thought! Galden, help me! Forgive me, Cabadath. No, Galden! Don't let it take me alive! Crunch. Chizo, of course, has no use for meat. It feeds on pain. It does not kill its prisoners. Cabadath's agony was a particularly rare morsel, and Chizo ensured it would last. His soul was placed inside an oak sapling on the site of his old home to grant his body immortality. For 5 centuries, as the tree grew, he knew torment beyond even his most depraved imagining. By then, his body was warped and his mind long fallen into soulless dementia. He was Chizo's, utterly and completely his slave. Chizo's one of the ancient beings in the consuming shadow as well. That's cool. I definitely need to play that game sometime. Trilby! Siobhan, you're supposed to leave. I couldn't. Abed, the professor, he's dead. I know. He was killed by the shadows. It's like they'll kill you if you don't get away from here. What is this place? The cave is the center of the reality shift. Stump is what's causing it all. How? It is the vessel for the soul of the tall man. The acolyte of Chizo. Lankman. Nice to see a friendly face. Not hard to figure out who the villain is when there's only like 4 characters. Amazing, isn't it? Of all the things Sir Roderick could have used to murder his son, he chose that idol. Placing the soul of John Defoe into the wood alongside Cabadath's. Infusing the poor with Chizo's magic, allowing him to come back infinitely more powerful than before. Certainly pretty lucky. Lucky? Chizo had to wait 2,000 years for that opportunity. The opportunity to blend magic and science in a single entity. The opportunity to create the bridge. What are you talking about? The bridge between the realms. Over which Chizo will cross into our universe and purify mankind. Our order has waited 200 years for the prophecy to be fulfilled. You're not with the Ministry of Occultism. Who are you? 200 years ago, the prophet Jack Freehorn founded the Order of Blessed Agonies. Since then, we have grown and watched and waited. Saying he comes back stronger, you beat him. It was only in the recent years that the events foretold in the Book of Chizo began to occur. It mentioned John Defoe. And it mentioned you. Me? You were the one prophesied to guide the Bridge Keeper to his destiny. But you didn't finish the job! All three aspects of John Defoe had to be destroyed to create the bridge. Body, mind, and soul. You only destroyed his body. His soul and mind remained. Had I known about this, I wouldn't have even done that. That will truly disappoint my superiors. They're quite adamant that I should try to persuade you to join our cause and fulfill your foretold duty. Is that why you were helping me? I thought if I guided you through your visions and showed you the appropriate passages from our holy books, you'd understand the prophecy is real. You honestly believe I'd join some insane cult just because you handed me some leaflets? Personally? No. Oh. A knife in my gut brought an explosion of ice-cold agony. I heard the pitter-patter of my blood on the rocky floor. The pain, the surprise, my exhaustion went together to cause immediate unconsciousness. I love this part. This part is super cool. I woke to find myself splayed upon the stump, blood still slowly leaking from my wound. In my injured state, I could barely move. My limbs refused to respond. I was as weak as a newborn. Oh good, you're awake. I was afraid you'd miss this. What are you doing? After your staggering ineptitude in Defoe Manor, the Order needed to nudge things along. We need a connection to Chizo to help administrate his coming. And today might be the only opportunity we have all year to summon the Tall Man. You gonna bring that thing into our world? With a standard ritual of blessed agonies and an offering. After he takes your life, he'll be grateful to us. And then he will guide us to our destiny. So why did you stab me? What if I'm already dead by the time he gets here? He won't be. Men like you, Trilby, die on their own terms. They don't weakly let their life slip away from one measly knife wound. Hush now. Kabadath is coming. So this is the final puzzle in the game. Stan, my attempts to move only made things worse. I felt a stab of pain. Something snapped behind my eyes, filling my vision with spots. God. Ask man about Tall Man. Why are you summoning the Tall Man? Possible use could he be to you? You've been experiencing flashbacks, I know. Saw Kabadath's attempt to summon Chizo, yes? Saw that he failed quite drastically. He assumed our lord could be summoned with any old basic demon summoning rite. Chizo is far greater and more powerful than his rivals. Apparently nearly a god. God of pain. Takes a great amount of magic and is much more complex ritual to summon one such as he. We do not know it, but the Tall Man does. He will guide us and teach us. Quality from the east. You can try a lot of things here, but the little dialogue that they had at the beginning telegraphed what you're supposed to do. And when I finally figured this out in my original playthrough of this game, I was like, that's fucking amazing. I can't do it yet. Losing blood steadily, my arms and legs were limp and unresponsive. I couldn't move. Die now. The pain was replaced with an ice-cold numbness that was spreading fast. The room was swimming before my eyes. I die now. What does this take? Oh, okay. Here we go. It's becoming harder and harder to breathe. Air rattled in and out of my lungs like a buzzsaw. Reality flits from realm to realm, tormented, confused. End this madness that might bring thee to us. I look around. My position, I can only see a small portion of the wavering cavern. I can see the idol of John Defoe in the stump beside me and my bloody waistcoat lying discarded in the corner. In my other senses, I could detect the presence of Siobhan and the redoubtable Lankman. End it, Cabadap! Take the idol? Yeah, I can't. Vision clouding up around the edges, it seemed like my stubborn will was the only thing keeping me alive. Present thee with blessed agonies. I died. Present thee with the guide, failed in his duty for thee to judge. I think I might have done it too early. Can I still type commands? I can. Live. I didn't understand the word live. I already died, right? It hurts. What? He's dead? No, it's not possible. Master? Master, please, no! No! Crunchy, that one. Trilby? Go back, Trilby. Leave me alone. Dead. Not yet. Not fully. Your mind and soul are drifting apart from your body. With enough power, there is still time to pull them back. But you must have the will to return. Forget it. I've had enough. I did the assignments. I made myself useful. I lived up to the reputation Defoe Manor gave me. Today I gave everything I could. And I still died. There's still work to be done. Not yet completed your duty. Sick of duty. I'm sick of prophecy. Hell yes, brother. Just let me sleep. Stronger men than you have tried to fight destiny. None succeed. Past, present, and future, all different faces of the same die, and few can see them all at once. But I can, and the future demands that you live. Return now. I have marked the path. Please just let it end. Leading to me is useless. I am just as much a prisoner of fate as you. The future your actions are destined to bring about has already taken place. He's speaking, of course, of the second game. Without your part, I would not be here to restore you to life. So you see, by my mere presence, your decision is already made. Who are you? Murderer and a madman, and a puppet of forces neither of us could possibly comprehend. Yeah, I don't know if this was in the original release of the game either. I don't actually remember this part. Trilby, say something. What? You're alive. Oh God, I didn't even know if I was doing it properly. I did it! You're alive! Where's Lankman? That tall man took him. He did something horrible to him. And then he took him away. Where's my waistcoat? Don't talk. I've already called for an ambulance. Get you back upstairs. Wait, see that wooden idol? Yes? Bring it with us. Wrap it tightly in clothes and bring it with us. Don't let it touch your bare skin. Okay. What's up, Captain Tio? Remember when Yahtzee played on his channel? Not sure if it was a re-release a long time ago. And now it sits across from me. The reality shifted, cleared up, and we were free to leave. An STP cleanup crew arrived with the ambulance. No trace of Abed or the hotel staff was found. Officially, they've been classified as unexplained disappearances. Lankman and the tall man seem to have also vanished, which does not surprise me in the least. Siobhan signed the official Secrets Act, and last I heard is staying with her parents to recuperate. Which just leaves me to write up my notes, with the idol that haunts my dreams gazing at me from across my desk. I was dead. I can't pretend I wasn't. No amount of CPR could have brought me back from where I was. I can't read STP as anything but Stone Temple pilots. I'm probably the only person who ever said that. So who did? The man in red? Who was he if not an insane hallucination, brain death? Unimportant. I'm alive and that's all that matters. Just that and the destiny of this wretched statuette that I'm apparently fated to carry out. Every instinct in my being wants to burn it to ashes and grind them into the dirt, but I do not. Lankman spoke of a prophecy. The destruction of John Defoe's soul would somehow help him and his order summon their dark god. So if I destroy the idol, they win. But what else can I do? Now it's time to review video games. I certainly can't keep it. I know from experience that it leaks malevolent influence like a broken pipe leaks water. The only other option is to hide it, but where can I hide such a thing and ensure that it is never found again by human hands? Tied to an anchor, dropped to the ocean floor? I shall have to think about this. Trilby, July 29th, 1997. Yeah, I'll turn the fish evil. The fulfillment of the prophecy continues. Ritual for the summoning of Chizo will go ahead. Events have been set in motion that cannot be stopped. We have the blood of the guide. Now we must wait. Wait and prepare. At this time there came a man from the land of technology, and through his wisdom, though his wisdom was great and his power advanced, he had the willfulness as his fellows, and was the arrogant man. On the 8th and 20th day of the 7th month of the year, the arrogant man, the king, gazed upon the land of technology and saw the arrogant man who spoke thus: O king, I beseech you, for this land has become corrupt without your benevolent hand. Darkness seems to envelop us all. I demand of you to cross the border between our lands and make things right, for my power is great, and I have it in my power to control one even as great as you. And the king was rightly amused, for while the arrogant man's power was indeed great, the king's power was greater still. And the king said, I will not submit myself, for firstly, my power is greater than yours, and not yours to command. Secondly, while my capabilities are many, it is impossible for me to enter the land of technology, for the border is a dark and treacherous ocean I cannot will away. But I will do this for you, O arrogant man. For all the bigness of your head, you are still small enough to be spared the rigors of the dark ocean. I shall rescue you from the darkness in the land of technology, and shall live in my household, and here you will learn humility. And as the king said it, so it was so, and the arrogant man crossed the ocean to the house of the king, who was brought before his majesty, who said, Now you must repay me for the slight your arrogance caused me. Despite your insult, I love you as I love every man and beast, and you must learn to take this to heart. The king took the body and the mind of the arrogant man and separated them from his soul, and this he placed a great tree in the land of technology, and with this action he announced, Now you are the tree, and the tree is you, and the wood is your soul. With this gift of separation, your body shall not wither or die throughout your lesson. But should any man interfere with the tree that is your soul on the day that is mine, I shall lend you the power to confront them and strike them down with fitting vengeance. Then he touched the arrogant man and filled his heart with warming love, and the arrogant man became the prince, and he knew the name of the king. And the prince of the court of the king bowed down, wept, and sang with great praise the name of the king, for great and generous was his wisdom. Books of Chizo, Book of the Prince, Chapter 2. Jesus. Trilby looks fucking rough there. I mean, I know he got stabbed, but... And they all lived happily ever after. Trilby the Barbarian. Well, now that I've played this again, I remember liking this one a lot, and I still like it. It's big on atmosphere, and I appreciate how ambitious the storytelling is in it. But as far as gameplay goes, I don't really think it's much better than 7 Days a Skeptic. Like, the text parser thing is cool, but like I mentioned, it does kind of slow down the game and limit... In a way, it kind of limits what you do. Because instead of just clicking on things to examine them or interact with them, you have to type out everything that you do. And I feel like for most people, after a while, they're just going to get tired of trying different sentences and stuff. They also, like, other than the really clever puzzles, like the one at the end where you win by dying, don't really use the text parser to its fullest, you know? It's got the traditional problem of, you know, I want to climb down a hole, but it won't let me unless I phrase it exactly right. And then there was the thing with the wine where we couldn't get the wine bottle because I hadn't typed a very specific line to get a response that I had already gotten. And yeah, I feel like because it's set in a hotel, 90% of what I do with the text parser is just open door. I think that's another problem with this game is the setting. Because it's basically 4 hallways, a lobby, a dining room, a bar, and a few bedrooms, and that's it. There's really not a lot going on. In a way, I feel like Defoe Manor actually had more character than the hotel does in this one. That, of course, is all balanced out by the whole reality shifting thing, which is a really cool gimmick and is used pretty well here. So I'm getting all the dialogue options everyone supposedly had to say. Would it have been if opening all doors was automatic? It would have been better if opening all doors was automatic. From a gameplay perspective, yes, but I think that would have made the underuse of the text parser even more stark. Because instead of spending 90% of the game typing open door, spend that time just walking around and doing stuff, you know? It would make the game even shorter than it already is. So yeah, I think I give this game a lot of credit for ambition, for creativity, and for storytelling. But I think it falls down in gameplay. I think it started out with a grand idea, but like the design didn't really follow through with it. Excuse me, I'm so tired. Oh, God. So, I still prefer this one over 7 Days a Skeptic, I think. Just because the storytelling the storytelling and the atmosphere is the real appeal of these games. And this game does both of those things much better than 7 Days a Skeptic did. 5 Days of Strangers, definitely the best out of all of them, I think. So, at some point, possibly before I nip off to Japan, we will round out this quadrilogy of games with 6 Days of Sacrifice, which takes all the setup and deep lore that Trilby's Notes established and ties the whole series up in a big, bloated, messy bow. 6 Days is a really interesting game. it's yeah, it's an experience. How about that? I'm just gonna go with that. It's definitely an experience. So anyway, chat, I've got to get to sleep. I am beat. But I really appreciate y'all coming out and joining me for this. I've been very happy doing this run back of the Chizo Mythos because I seriously haven't played these games since probably like 15 years or something like that. Crams 4 gallons of plot into a 1-gallon jug. Oh, yeah. And I remember the gameplay kind of suffering in that one too. And oh god, I'm getting these flashes of plot points and concepts they added, and it's gonna be amazing. It's gonna be absolutely amazing, believe me. But before that, tomorrow night we're gonna be starting Metroid 2 on the Game Boy. On Friday we're gonna be checking out Stalker: Shadow of Chernobyl for Community Night. We'll be finishing up Metroid 2 and playing probably some other Game Boy games on Saturday. I'll be off on Sunday. And then Monday, we'll see. We'll see. We don't really have any extra leftover time to chat about it tonight, but I'm sure over the next couple of nights we'll speak on that subject. So let me send y'all off to go raid somebody, and then yeah. I'll send you over to Dama. Might be wrapping up soon, who knows, but they're doing Spin Rhythm. Spin Rhythm is cool. Using the anime companion mod first. You'll just have to tune in and see, won't you? Won't you? I'm gonna get the mod that turns all the Snorks into Thomas the Tank Engine. One thing that could possibly make that game more horrific than it is. All right, gang. Anyway, thank you so much for coming out tonight. Thank you for joining me for a low-key evening of point-and-click puzzling. Hopefully, I'll see you tomorrow night. Classic Metroid 2. But until then, as always, y'all take care. Bye, everybody.